This video provides you with a description for Martus's income statement report. When you first log into Martus, you'll start out in the Dashboard Financials. The income statement is one of the options on the Select Report dropdown. The first thing that you'll notice about the income statement is that there are several filters and settings. We're going to take a look at how to use those to tailor the presentation of data on this screen. First, notice that rows are set to account view. So information is presented in general ledger account order, income followed by expense. Columns are presently set to months, so we see information for each month of the year. You'll notice that there's a filter for ending date and months. These control how many months of data are shown on the report. The default ending date is based on a setting in Martus that is called the last closed month. That is set by your system admin and usually updated monthly. The number of periods, or months, defaults to the number of months back from the ending date to the beginning of your fiscal year. You can change both of these values so that you can see information through a different ending date or for a different number of months. Here, the ending date is set to October and 10 months are shown. That's why the report shows a total of actuals for each month through October. You'll also see a column showing budget for the last month of actuals and another column for the variance or difference between the budget and actuals for that month. Continuing across this report, there's a section for year-to-date actuals and year-to-date budget, totaling all the months shown on this report, and then the variance between these budget and actual numbers. Then there's a column for the annual budget and the amount remaining. Some of the information on this report is color-coded. You'll notice that the monthly actuals are all shown in blue. In Martus, blue always means that you can drill down. If you click on a blue amount, you'll see all the transaction details behind that total. Martus also color codes the variance columns. Red is always bad, and black is good. As an example, look at the monthly variance on the contributions line. Since the budget was $399,000, and the actuals are only $145,000, the variance of $254,000 is shown in red to highlight that the income was lower than budgeted. The same is true with expenses. Here, the accounting fees are budgeted at $5,095, but the actuals came in at $6,957, so the variance of $1,862 is shown in red to indicate that expenses exceeded budget. Now, let's look at some ways to obtain information from different perspectives. We're going to start with the Rows dropdown. Click there, and you'll see that you can select an account category, which provides totals for each of the account categories defined in Martus. You can also choose to set your rows to get a summary by the various dimensions that you use in Martus. I'm going to select Program View Summary for an example. Click Load, and I'll see a total for each program. You'll notice that there's still a separate section for income and expense. If I wish, I can get a net total for each program by clicking the Gain/Loss checkbox and clicking Load. Now, the next part is a demonstration of a very important feature, which is the ability to see child dimensions rolled up to their parents. When you set rows to any dimension summary, like Program View Summary, Martus shows you the highest level parent dimensions within the limitations of any other filters or selections. Here, I happen to know that most programs do not have any children, but Program 299 does have several. I'll use the All Row Dimensions button to open another tab and see totals for those child programs, all rolled up to the parent 299. You can also choose to see information at the GL account level. Click Expand, and Martus will bring up another window that shows you GL account activity rolled up into each program, for child dimensions as well as parent dimensions. I also noticed that all of the amounts are in blue, so I could drill down on them in order to see transaction detail. Now, let's continue with the Columns dropdown. Here you can choose to see information for just the current month and year to date, which makes the report a bit simpler to look at. If your company has an Advanced or an Advanced Plus subscription, you'll also have the opportunity to show quarterly and yearly totals. You can also choose to set the columns to any of your dimensions. Just as with rows, this shows you the highest level parent dimensions within the limitations of any other filters or selections that you've made. Here's a few other fun facts about the income statement. The features demonstrated in this video are available to all users. However, the data shown to any given user is always limited to the dimensions that that user is permitted to see. Excluded accounts are not shown on the income statement by default. The excluded setting is typically used for depreciation, amortization, and perhaps some contra or allocation accounts. Admin users and non-admins with the appropriate privilege will see an option in the filters to include excluded data. Two other account settings affect the data shown on this report. There's the restricted account setting, which is typically used for accounts that are related to personnel costs. Restricted accounts are only shown to admin users and to non-admins who've been granted the privilege to see them. And then there's the limited drill down setting. Remember that you can normally drill down on any of the blue numbers. But if an account has been set to limited drill down, non-privileged users will see the total actuals but will not be able to drill down to see detailed transactions. You can use the drop-downs to filter your report by any of your dimensions. When you come up with a combination of settings that you like, you can save this as a saved report. That way, you can simply pick this report from your list of saved reports to go back to this particular combination of selections. When the report has rows set to account view and columns set to months or current month and year to date, you can also drill down into the budget from the amounts shown in the annual budget column. This lets you see all the budget worksheets on which a particular account is budgeted, and from here you can even access the budget worksheets themselves to see specific budget details and even budget notes. Lastly, the budget to actual comparisons on the income statement are based on whatever budget is set as the default dashboard budget. However, admin users and privileged non-admins can choose a different budget to be used for comparison purposes. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation about the income statement. Check out our knowledge base for more information about the other reports available as part of Martus's Dashboard Financials. If you've still got questions, please reach out to Martus Support for assistance.